Welcome back to Kinda Funny's Rocky / Creed in review. Of course, I'm Tim Geddes, and I am joined by the Nitro Rifle, Andy Cortez.
Hello.
The producer / seducer, Nick Scarpino.
How tall is Jonathon Majors?
And joining us for the first time on this show in person, it's Sancho West.
What's up, y'all?
I love that we asked you, where's the fedora? And your answer was, I got this.
I got this. This is like a legit snapback hat from Super Nintendo World, from Universal. It's amazing. This is one of the best snapbacks I ever had in my life, and I have a lot of them. But
it only cost $79.
But at the same time, hey, no Rocky, no fedora.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense.
This is our quiet protest.
That's right.
Against having Rocky not in the movie.
That's right.
Yes, exactly. Of course, this is Kinda Funny's In Review, where we rank, review, and recap different movie franchises. Some would say every movie franchise. Whether you like the movies, don't like the movies, chances are we've reviewed the movies, and you can check all of that out on youtube.com/kindafunny or roosterteeth.com. You could also get it as a podcast by searching your favorite podcast service for Kinda Funny In Review, and we'll be right there for you. We got a whole bunch of cool stuff coming, so you're going to want to subscribe to patreon.com/kindafunny, because that's the only way you can watch these live as we record them, and that's extra valuable on days like this where we are reviewing new movies. All right, when the movies drop the Thursday night, we come in and give them hot takes. They drop on Friday for Patreon, but then Monday for everybody else. We're doing Creed 3 right now, but next week, guess what? It's Screevy time. Scream 6, everybody.
That was a dope trailer. That was a dope trailer that we saw.
Week after that, Shazam, Fury of the Gods.
We don't have
movie of the year.
We don't have
it. Wasn't dope. Wasn't that dope?
Can't wait.
We're gonna do it. Week after that, John Wick Chapter 4.
There we go.
There we go.
I'm thinking Andy's back.
Because here's the thing, I'm retiring during Shazam, but then I'm coming out of retirement for
Perfect.
Big return for me.
Andy, maybe we just go golfing during Shazam by accident instead.
How about John Nick?
One thing, look,
it's Friday, y'all.
Being on this side, I looked over what Nick's doing and what he's Googling. You do not want to be on this side.
I'm on, listen, no, I gotta clarify, because people are like, what's Nick looking at? I'm on celebheights.com, and I'm looking at Jonathon Major height. It says 5'11" and a quarter. I'm like, just say 5'11", bro.
He's 5'10".
He's 5'10". That's a hard 5'10". Yeah, hard 5'10".
God,
because you're 5'11", and you're 6.
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you're 6, and if you're 7 feet tall, you're 6'11", like Kevin Durant.
Yep.
You don't want to be too tall, Nick.
Oh, you don't want to be
Little basketball tip for you.
because then people think you're, and then you go,
because they're like, oh, he's probably too slow. He probably can't. He's probably a big man. Their legs always get hurt. You don't want that.
Yeah, that's what I tell people.
That's what I'm used to. Yeah.
What I'm used to is your support on patreon.com/kindafunny, and I'm talking about the Patreon producers: Nathan Lamoth, Tripod Plus, Trent Barry, James Hastings, and Casey Andrew. Thank all of you for all of your support. You're the best around. No one's going to keep you down. Today we're brought to you by Shady Raisin Honey, but I'll tell you all about that later. We're talking about Creed 3, baby. It was supposed to be released on November 23rd, 2022, which is why we did Rocky in Review when we did. But then it got delayed, as things often do. So it released on March 3rd, 2023. And on February 2nd this year, Michael B. Jordan confirmed that a 4th Creed movie is happening for sure. And there are also spinoffs being considered. We know Drago is getting a spinoff.
I'm good.
This one directed by Michael B. Jordan, making his directorial debut, directing and starring in this motion picture. The music was done by Joseph Shirley, who's Ludwig's boy. And this is an interesting thing I was looking into. So Shirley was announced as Göransson's replacement because he was too busy doing other things, including the upcoming Oppenheimer, the Christopher Nolan movie, and the Wakanda Forever. So this also happened where Ludwig did Creed, and then he did Mandalorian, and then this guy kind of replaced him when Ludwig couldn't do it anymore. So now he's also doing Mandalorian. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and I don't know if you guys remember, Mandalorian theme, Rocky theme, a lot of similarities there. So there's something going on. There's a conspiracy that we're going to get to the bottom of.
Dude, you think you got Carl Weathers.
And Carl fucking Weathers.
Yeah, see?
It goes all the way to the top, people.
It goes all the way to the top.
And when the helmet's on, it's actually Sylvester Stallone in the Mandalorian armor.
Yeah,
that's what I heard. That's what I heard.
Nobody.
And then the music, the album itself, the soundtrack was executive produced by J. Cole and Dreamville. So we got a whole bunch of bangers to look forward to this weekend. I'm excited about that. This one had a budget of $75 million, which is a cool $25 million more than Creed 2. A little surprised.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I wonder where it went.
I don't know either. It's kind of weird.
Didn't go into the green screen, that's for sure.
It may have been marketing with all the fucking
Delays and
with
stuff.
all the delays
no,
and everything
because
like
they never really promoted the first one.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird. And box office wise, though, this shit be killing it, y'all. Eric Davis from Fandango and Rotten Tomatoes says Creed 3 pulls in a franchise record $5.4 million in Thursday previews alone, with an estimated $40 million for the weekend. That would mark a record opening for the Creed films and also the Rocky films. Fun and pretty crazy fact, this will be the first film in the franchise to top the box office since Rocky IV 38 years ago. With Creed 3 opening number 1, that gives Jonathon Majors the very rare feat of back-to-back number 1 movies in consecutive weekends as a lead in a live-action film. That is wild. He's living out here.
God damn. Yeah.
So
Overwatch.
let's get right into it. Andy Cortez, I want to start with you.
Sure.
What do you think of Creed 3?
I loved it, man, and I think a lot of it helps that we were in a theater and we were getting the big screen with the big sound and the super visceral sound effects of all the punches and everything. It felt intense when it needed to. It made me. It got the emotion out of me when it needed to, when they're tugging at your heartstrings, playing the really sad music in the sad moments, or they're trying to hype you up with like cool edited montages and stuff. It's not without its silly shit. I think this movie has like a bit of silly shit in it, a good amount of it. I know I'm going to rank it pretty high. Like, I don't think it's the best of any of these, but I had a blast with it. They found new kind of cool ways that I thought were interesting to watch, ways to kind of like change the formula of what we're used to with these boxing movies, and kind of neat ways that when they happen, you go, ooh, I don't know if I like this, and I go, oh, no, I actually kind of do like this. It's kind of cheesy, but still pretty awesome and visually cool.
Sancho, what about you?
Hey, man, I have to say this. I'm on the opposite side of you, Andy. I mean, the thing about me where I feel where this movie falls short, like about...
Got bad taste?
Well, I'm just saying. No, I'm just saying like about halfway through the movie, I'm with you. I'm vibing with it. I'm locked in. I'm having a good time with it. But then all of a sudden, after Jonathon Majors wins the belt from Felix, which is by far one of the worst actors I've ever seen, Felix Chavez.
Michael B. Jordan is in this movie as well.
Man, the whole time, man, he's just like,
Bad actor,
every
bad.
time.
When he's walking out on the phone, he's like, "We got to do this deal." Blah blah. I'm like, "Fucking awful." Dude.
I'm not on that side. But like after that moment, I just feel like something. I don't know. It totally deflated from me. Like the wind just stopped, and I just could not get back in line with it. And despite Jonathon Majors being such a solid acting, like
So good.
I remember after the first scene, Jonathon Majors, and I leaned over to you, and I was like, "This guy's really good. This guy's really good." And I just felt that the main problem with me in this movie, and I think would be probably the most kind of thing, is either you like it or you don't type of vibe, is if you liked not having Rocky. I mean, Rocky is a huge part of this franchise and is a huge part of Adonis Creed's career. And then to feel like never mentioned, never shown, never talked about, only mentioned once when you were talking about how Apollo gave Rocky an underdog shot at the belt. I felt this is a huge disservice to Stallone. I mean, Stallone needed to be a part of this movie in some way, or a great send-off. And without Stallone, I felt that's where the movie lacked the heart and thing. Like, I told Nick this yesterday, as I feel like the Rocky movies are meant to be inspiring. You feel inspired by Stallone. You feel inspired by the underdog overcoming everything that needs to be done. But I'm just not inspired by Adonis Creed. Not at all in this film.
Me either.
I mean, that's what's missing at its most, and I think that's what hurts the ranking the most for me, is not finding that inspiration.
Yeah, it's missing a lot of. It's missing a lot of the heart, right? And a
lot of heart,
and that's what Rocky Balboa brings to this franchise, and what Sylvester Stallone brings to that character, and that's why, like, I still love Rocky 1. I think I ranked Rocky 1 higher than Rocky 2 just because I love his acting, and I love, like, just he's such a lovable dude.
Right.
And yeah, we're definitely missing that here. I don't disagree with that. I know that it's kind of an interesting choice for this to kind of go. Seems like it's going the MCU Fast and Furious route. They're trying to build this shit out. They're getting a bit more modern with how they are showing off these boxing fights, and it you see the anime influences that we've heard about in a lot of these interviews with Michael B. Jordan, and I've even seen interviews with Jonathon Majors saying like, yeah, Michael B. Jordan loves anime, and he's taught me about like the cool, which makes sense because like a lot of bad voice acting in those shows. Yeah.
Okay.
Really going after
I can't. But so much shade being thrown around.
Uncalled for.
But
It's uncalled for.
it's tough to fight. No, I don't think that's the problem with this movie. I don't think it's Michael B. Jordan. I just think like in general, when you don't have Stallone to ground you a little bit and just to provide it. One of the criticisms I had for Creed 1 was that Adonis Creed is the least interesting character out of everybody that surrounded him. And I felt that it took a step back again. Whereas Creed 2, he was a very interesting character, and his tale was very interesting as well when he made his track, his arc. But in Creed 3, once you pass the point and it gets into like the Rocky formula of let's do a montage, let's build up the big fight, it felt rushed. It felt very weirdly paced, and I felt there was no payoff for the montage. It was just like, we're just gonna have you drag a plane, but like, why? Why are you pulling the plane? I mean, everything like Goofy Stallone did in Rocky 4 made sense. This man is lifting up with everything without any weights. He's lifting carts. He's helping people out of the snow. It just felt like without Stallone and without somebody saying like, hey, wait a minute, let's really step back. What does Rocky mean to people? Mm-hmm. So I think the big problem is, what does Creed mean to people? And I don't think it means much compared to Rocky. But I would say on the lower end of the Rocky and Creed movie franchises, if I had to say.
Nick Scarpino, what'd you think?
Tim, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become Rocky 5. This movie did not hit for me. I did not like any of the characters in it. Watching Adonis and watching Jonathon Majors, I was like, who am I supposed to root for here, right?
Yeah.
Because Adonis was wrong the entire time. Not only was he wrong, the whole thing could have been solved by an apology. And then he's like, no, I know what'll solve this. I'll beat this guy's ass in front of the entire world and take the one thing away from him that he's ever wanted. That's what I'll do. And then at the end of it, I'll celebrate with my daughter and my wife in a ring. That last shot, I was like, oh, what a bad taste in my mouth. Not only that, Jonathon Majors ended Drago's career maybe by having someone beat his ass. I'm like, I don't like him either. He's not redeemable either. This movie needed to really play with the structure a little bit more and really hone in on the fact that Adonis was fighting his demons and was wrong. And if obviously we're Monday morning quarterbacking here, but like we needed to walk away with this having him lose and feeling good for Dame, being like he is the champion now, and we're continuing on potentially with his story. Or we needed to get to that important part of the montage where he's failing and he doesn't know what's holding him back. And the reality is, they should have had a scene where he walked to Dame's house, knocked on his door, and was like, "I'm sorry, like it's my fault. It is my bad." And then have Dame be deflated and have him be like, okay, I found my power again. But we just didn't get that. And so, it's unfortunate because the entire time you're with these movies, I love the character. And I think Michael B. Jordan does a good job playing him. I think the cast is great. Jonathon Majors is good. Great. But it's just a motivation start like winding down toward the end of it because you start thinking like, why is he fighting this guy? By the way, am I crazy? At any point did Dame want to fight him? Like, didn't Dame just want to be champion? And then he's like, I'm going to fight you. And it's like, yeah, let's go. Like, we needed that rivalry of like, he should have come out and been like, no, I want to fight you for the championship. And I'm going to make that happen. Yeah. Similar to how like Tommy, not to call it out, but like Tommy Gunn was like, I got to fight Rocky. I'm always living in this guy's shadow. But I never really felt like Dame was living that. I think he just wanted to be champion. It was good. It
felt like, that book that Jonathon Majors had was like, this was his plan. Like, he's going to get out of prison. Right. He's going to manipulate Adonis. He's going to get into some of his world, like, infiltrate his family, and then get into really weird stuff, right, is happening here. And then spar against them, and then get into that mode, and then execute his plan. But once all that Bond villain stuff went away, then what else is there to do for him?
Well, also just like, I don't know, it made him a very unlikable character when you realize, obviously, it was telegraphed beyond belief. They were like, of course this guy, orchestrated this whole thing. And then Marianne's like, oh, the picture. I was like, oh, you didn't.
You could have brought that picture earlier. I was like,
maybe you could have called him a little earlier when you figured that one out. But I understand she saw it and was like inspired to go look through the notes and find that piece of information. But you would think if you saw that, you'd be like, oh, this guy's been playing me the entire time. Let me just call the cops. Like, obviously, he just ordered a hit on someone and, like, he's really going back to jail forever. Yeah. It's kind of silly, and it's kind of... Obviously, look, Rocky IV
There's
Rocky
a lot
V.
of silly shit
There's
in
a lot
all
of
the
crazy,
Rocky movies.
silly shit.
But
Come on.
it's different.
But this is
It's
soap.
not.
This is soap opera silly. This is.
But
like,
we have a good actor. That's a difference here.
That is true, but I wish the material were better for Jonathon Majors. I really think it does him a disservice because that last scene where he's like, it wasn't on either of us, we were kids, was so good. But in my back of my mind, I'm like, I don't trust this guy. I don't. This guy literally infiltrated your family and like now you're
I
cool.
don't know why I find that so funny.
So it's unfortunate. Like I wish they would have found a way
Covert ops.
to do
Basically
something
was.
similar to like, I mean, I found myself more interested in the Drago relationship than I was with the Dame relationship. I was like, how are you homies with Drago now? Like, what's that story? That's a little bit crazier. Having said all of that, I enjoyed the movie from a visual standpoint. I thought the energy of the fights was cool. They brought some really interesting stuff into the fights. Some stuff I loved. Some stuff I just was like, wow. Great way to just completely deflate the tension in a fight. Completely. Even with the sound design, where I'm like, I can tell you guys are in like a 20 by 20 room with because the sound alone makes it sound like you guys are standing near green screens. But there's a lot of really good stuff in this movie, and it is a fun movie. And if you're looking for something fun to see this weekend, go see it at the biggest screen humanly possible. You won't be disappointed. You'll just walk away going, I should have watched Creed 2 instead.
Yeah, one thing I want to say is my friend's in this movie, and I talked to him last night. He's in Budapest right now doing something, and he plays Budapest. But the one, if you want to watch the movie, he plays Leon.
Share your M&Ms. Okay, don't criticize me. You're not a sharer.
I should have shared my M&Ms.
should've
I
shared
had
the
too
M&Ms.
much last night.
Give me 3 M&Ms. Drop us off. I was like,
I
are there
suck
even
Fucking
M&Ms in this
liar.
bag?
There was like more than 10 in this fucking bag. Like plenty.
It's basically Nerf Andy throughout the whole entire day. This M&M's has laid him down.
No, it's not that. It was the sleep, the lack of sleep from waking up and being up all night because my stomach's fine right now. I'm just so tired. This has been a very long
Good
week.
to know. What I was saying, so my friend, right, plays Leon. He plays the abusive foster parent. And the interesting story is how he got that part was first was a stuntman. He had previous work in One Night in Miami. He played Sonny Liston in that movie. He actually
cool.
Yeah. So he's doing this work here, and then all of a sudden, Michael B. Jordan, they did his test to do that. Remember the scene where the father is beating him, and it's like a crank camera? Michael B. Jordan's behind that in the camera when they're doing the test, and they saw my friend. He's like, he's really good. He's really good at being this very intimidating person. So he was originally supposed to be Jonathon Majors' trainer. The guy's like, come on, keep your hands, champ.
Right.
That was him. But he was like, my friend said, well, it wasn't a challenging role to be just like, keep your hands up and that's it. So instead, he was like, Michael B. Jordan gave him this role to be the Leon, the abusive guy.
Damn, it's cool.
Because he was like, he's really good at it. And then before you know it, he's out of it. And I was like, dude, that's, I loved your part because I've seen that look from him because I acted with him in college. So I've seen that look from him from across. It was really trippy to see him on the big screen just for those seconds there. But
What was hilarious is as we were leaving the movie, you're like, I don't know if I can congratulate him. Like he did a really great job
You're
playing a
mad,
total
dude.
piece of shit.
Yeah, you're a total.
But he did a good job. He did
a
his
good
job
job.
correctly.
Yeah.
He was very menacing.
And I'm happy for my boy to be in the movie, but I have a job to do and review and rank it properly against Rocky.
You got to take your journalistic
Got a
integrity
job. Very true.
seriously.
What
here.
about you, Tim? What did you think?
You know,
about it?
I'm closer to Andy for sure on this one. But overall, I'm a little bit let down from what this movie could have been and has the signs of being, and the seeds are there. And there's so many moments where I'm like, this is incredible. They're doing what we've always wanted the Rocky movies to do. When we're seeing him kind of like break down the old Michael B. Jordan fights and be like, okay, cool. He hurt his shoulder here. He hurt his ribs here. And like, it's the systematic takedowns, James Bond villain stuff. All that was so interesting. And I feel like they just let go of it. Like they just didn't commit to it. At the end, they just didn't like seal the deal. And I'm so bummed by that because we've heard so much about the anime inspirations and oh my God, they're there. They're so there. They're 90% there. I wish they went 110% because that scene felt awkward. It felt empty. It needed VO. I needed internal monologues. And I know that would have been goofy as shit. I know it would have been stupid, but it already was goofy and stupid. And when you don't fully commit to the goofy and stupid, it feels more stupid than goofy. And I kind of am there. And also, I think that to Nick's point about the pacing of the last fight, the moment where they kind of go into anime world for a bit, when they come back, it's like, whoa, that was 10 rounds? Like, y'all skipped this shit really, really quick. And I think it was a disservice to the characters and the motivations. And I was never rooting for Creed in this movie. ever. Period.
Yeah.
That's not good. I feel like this is a fun movie. It was a good time, like you were saying. I do think that there's a lot to enjoy. I can't imagine watching this and not enjoying it. It's an enjoyable movie with a lot of really cool stuff and a lot of like exciting popcorny type moments. But I think that there is no heart. Everything from that Stallone would bring to it, but even in Creed 2, some of the characters the character we saw from Michael B. Jordan and Bianca specifically, Tessa Thompson's character, is robbed in this movie. She has nothing to do. This feels like such a regression. Jonathon Majors, of course, is great, but I wish they gave him more. I really, like, we're now 2 movies in a row that I'm like, he was great, but he could have been so much better had he been given something like special. And I think to me, like this feels like a Rocky sequel. It feels like we're in like Rocky, and I don't even want to compare it specifically to a Rocky sequel, but it very much feels like that. Whereas Creed felt like a revelation to me. Creed is a movie where I'm like, this is how you do a legacy sequel. God damn.
Right.
And then Creed 2 was like, oh, you just upped the ante and made this even more hype and more. It was just more. This just kind of feels like, all right, cool. It's another sequel in a franchise, and it reminds me more of Fast 9 or Hobbs and Shaw than it does Fast 5 or 6 or 7. You know, And I'm let down by that. But again, it was entertaining. I'll watch these movies forever because I think that they're fun as hell, and like I like the template they have. Right. Hey, here's some situations. Here's a weird dramatic beat that may or may not work. Here's a montage time, and it's the final fight. But let me fucking tell you, the way that they kill his mom in this. What the fuck? It was so unnecessary. We were talking the last couple of weeks about, like, did Rocky need to get cancer? Did we need to deal with the daughter not being able to hear? In this movie, the dramatic subplot is just out of left field.
It's so wasted, and it's never really even talked about again.
It's
like
weird.
Think about those final moments in the ring. When, like, is there any like for you, mom, or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because again, to the same point of giving Jonathon Majors a little bit more character depth. You know, Felicia Rashad is just like, well, no, I mean, but you have Felicia Rashad, and that scene was great.
It was
just
great.
The movie was undeserving of that. That scene was gut wrenching.
Oh yeah,
I was like, wow, this is two. Or I guess one actor on camera with another actor.
No, he's a good crier.
He was great in that.
Michael B. Jordan's a good crier and a good yeller.
I really felt that scene, and I thought it was really good. And I wish we could have explored. I just find myself wishing we could have explored some of those other angles a little bit more, because the sort of soap opera comic book heel turn of Dame's character, it's just, man. Not only have we seen it before, but shit, we've seen it before in the Rocky series. So I wish we could have found something else for him to do. Like, again, Monday morning quarterback and just spitballing here for Creed 4. I wish his whole point of his character were to get Creed back into fighting because he retired too early. And that would have been, he would have been like,
Creed
I know
coming
what
back was bizarre.
It was bizarre. It felt, and it shouldn't feel bizarre in a movie called Creed.
No.
You should be like, but he felt that they're like, he was like, people asked him, just like, do you think you retired too soon? He's like, yeah, I guess, I don't know. Like, it didn't really feel like he got pulled out of boxing too early.
And, you know, we've watched all the Rocky movies, and I swear to God, it got, like, hilariously comical where movie after movie, which back then was not a couple years in between. It was decades in between.
Yeah.
We're all like, you're telling me this Rocky guy's going to fight? No fucking way.
No fucking way.
And then they make me believe that he fought and he won or he lost, whatever it was. It's like, he did the damn thing.
Right.
For movies and movies and movies. With Creed, it's like, you're retired? Like, there's something, and now you're kind of booking, but you're kind of not. Like,
and I definitely missed a lot of that as well, because when we see Adonis walk up to him and be like, "I want to be the champ," I was like, "Oh fuck, he's challenging Creed." I don't know where I missed that Creed had retired. I knew Creed had his side hustle, but I thought, what's his face, Mexican boxer,
Felix.
I thought Felix was a different
weight
class or whatever.
I thought so too.
I just like, I had missed. I'm sure they said it. Don't get me wrong. I'm really bad at like maybe my mind wandered off in that moment. But like I swear when he's like, I want to be the champ, I was like, damn, he's like challenging Adonis for the belt. That's crazy. And then we see him in the restroom. He's like, Adonis wants to fight Felix, and I'm like, oh. Shit, I guess he's not boxing.
Dame wants to fight Felix. Yeah. That whole thing felt like look, it's absurd in Rocky when Carl Weathers has such magnetism and such charm.
sold
You
it.
believe
sold
he
the
can
fight.
sell that fight to the boxing commission of Philadelphia, right? The Italian Stallion. Remember saying
Italian
that?
Stallion.
You're like, God, I want to
Sounds
hang out
like
with
a
this guy.
monster movie. That's what
Yeah,
he says.
exactly.
Like he just does, yeah. But
Versus
I
Apollo
think
Creed.
versus Apollo Creed. The American dream is what he says, right?
yes,
Like
dude.
this is what the American dream is.
And
And he sells the fight to everyone.
He's like, no,
and that
it's
makes sense.
Smart. Remember?
Yes.
Like, it's
And he
smart.
also
just
knows he's going to
lacks-
win.
Yeah, Michael B. Jordan in this role, this version of Creed, just I mean, it kind of reminds me of like
Get hyped for that.
it reminds me of like
on.
why Ric Flair was such a big character, and they had to change so much with his daughter, Charlotte Flair's like character. Like she doesn't do the same stuff Ric Flair does.
She doesn't have the
because like she
same
like,
energy.
I was just listening to an interview with her, and she's like, I don't really have that, so I chose to go a different route with my character. I can't do the fucking styling, wheeling, dealing, you know, like
Yeah.
And he doesn't have that. Like this character just doesn't have that level of like flair, you know, for lack of a better word.
Hey.
Wow.
It's true, and it's unfortunate because that the quickness with which all that has to go, which in Rocky 1, like we go from like picking him, and he's like, remember at first he's like, I no,
Yeah, he said,
like I'm not
don't
gonna
wanna
do that.
do it,
I
yeah.
remember Rocky thought he was gonna be a sparring partner, and even then he's like, I'm not gonna take any cheap blows, like a very humble,
Right.
And then we go from him deciding to like let Dame fight to like 5 minutes later, there's a championship fight, and it's like,
Battle of Los
yeah,
Angeles.
this
Right.
feels
The Showtime all of a sudden, yeah.
It feels just a little bit rushed and a little bit unearned, unfortunately.
It was sick.
The battle
The
of Los
Showtime
Angeles
shit was
awesome.
sick.
But I agree with you, Nick. They could have built it up to where okay, what was actually missing in this was like the city of Los Angeles. So you had the city of Philadelphia being a big character throughout the entire Rocky franchise, but why not have the city of Los Angeles be a part of that? Let the people talk about Dame. Let the people talk about Adonis. Let's show some scenes about everyone getting this hype behind the Battle of Los Angeles, because all of a sudden you have this montage. You got a Showtime montage, cut to Dodger Stadium being filled to the brim for this Battle of Los Angeles, but you're like, but why? Why does everyone else care?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like it's a Jake Paul type situation, because those are I know, but it's like it's being built up properly, right? Those are being advertised properly. In the movie, I wish we got more of that that fever for this fight.
Yeah, and they touched on it a little bit of like, this man was one of the best boxers until he went to jail for 18 years.
Yeah.
And they touched on that a little bit, and I wish they dove even deeper into like, this would have been the greatest boxer ever had he not gone to like,
It sold it a little bit.
and like and also fucking show that body in this advertisement to get the crowd, because they don't show the body until that first fight. You're like, come on,
Bro,
we need
come
to see
on.
that, we need to see
What are
that
you doing?
torso.
It's like you want to see Michael Myers right off the rip. You know?
Yeah.
You don't want to
Yeah.
wait for Michael to show up. But the whole time Eddie was like, "Look, dude, he has a sweater on, dude."
Yeah, he's hiding it right now. He's hiding it.
Yeah.
This movie does feel like there's a good 20 minutes that
Missing.
is just missing. And it feels like that they're there, that they exist, that they just were cut out for whatever reason to slim down the runtime. Because, I was saying the runtime here was an hour 56 minutes. It's the shortest Creed movie, and it's almost the shortest Rocky movie. Rocky 3 is like 30 minutes long, but...
And it's unfortunate too, because like, say what you will about some of those asides, say what you will about some of those B and C plots in the Rocky and the Creed franchise, but those are some of my favorite moments, because those are the unnecessary but very, very heartfelt character development moments, right? Rocky having cancer, you guys were split on that. You're like, this feels like it's a different movie. To me, it's a boxing movie, and at the end of the day, you got to try real hard to make boxing fun to watch,
Right.
Because we've seen like so many boxing movies. So to me, it's about their stories, it's about their struggles, and we got to this movie's credit, we got some of that, but to this movie's discredit, I was way more interested in Bianca's like storyline and him trying to become this promoter and their new life as away from boxing than I was with him coming back to the ring. And so that's where I feel like the movie fundamentally fails. I just fundamentally was not rooting. I was like, if I was his friend, I'd be like, no, you don't need to, don't fight this guy. I don't want to watch you fight this guy. Like, he didn't really, and it's not like they just didn't push him hard enough toward the Clubber Lang angle, because they were like, that was a cheap one-dimensional character. You can tell they wanted to give Jonathon Majors a little bit more, but he needed to be.
I thought he was gonna be more of a nuisance.
Dude, he needed to be way more like that.
Be more like predatory almost, like show up where he's not supposed to.
Like, remember when Clubber Lang was like Rocky went to Starbucks and Clubber Lang was like, "Hi, I'm your barista." Like, he was just fucking everywhere.
Like, that's what it's like. I thought Jonathon Majors
thank
was
you,
like, because
John.
Jonathon
Thank you,
Majors
John.
has that moment where he goes, I'm coming after everything.
Yeah, what did he
He's
come
like,
after?
All right, you got the belt. What else? Like, make him shut down
Infiltrate the family.
gym. I thought he was going to take Bianca away from
Straight
him.
up.
It kind of like felt that way.
It
for a
felt
minute,
that way, and
right?
then none of that happened, and it felt weird.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Jonathon Majors. As you're watching the movie, you're wondering how is he going to become a villain, and it's fairly disappointing, right? Like but I still think it's way more than any other Rocky movie has given us villain wise.
I'm with you.
And
1000%.
that's why I still that's why this movie is still elevated enough for me to where like as you're watching it, I need him to become more of a villain for more of a reason. And as you're watching, you're like, okay, where's the other shoe going to drop? How is this going to happen? And it isn't super satisfying, but it also wasn't like disappointing to me. I didn't feel like super disappointed by freaking Jonathon Majors' story. I just felt like, of course, there could have been more. We could have given him more to do, you know.
And that's my disappointment too, right? I don't like when the Rocky franchise has a villain. I like when they have an antagonist. And to me, Drago was an antagonist. He was a villain for the first part. This one-dimensional sort of like hulking Russian machine. But that dinner party is when he humanized him. You start sympathizing for him, and I think that's why you care about that last fight because you actually have a stake in Drago's success as well, right? You saw what happened to Ivan. You want Victor to almost succeed, but you also love Creed. You want him to find his legacy. Those are two cataclysmic ideas clashing with each other in a ring, metaphorically and then figuratively as they're actually punching each other. In this one, I just don't know why. Like, it just feels like they were like, let's throw something else out. What haven't we done yet? Oh, we haven't done Rocky 5 yet. All right, well, pull it out. Let's do Rocky 5. And it sucks. That's unfortunate.
We are about to get into the plot, but before we do that, here's a word from our sponsors. Shout out to Shady Rays for sponsoring this episode. Look how cool I look. You too can look this cool. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered from the sun to the slopes with premium polarized shades, customizable snow goggles, and so much more. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost and broken replacements. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they told us they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. They'll also provide 10 meals to fight hunger in America with every order and have donated over 20 million meals to date. That's fantastic. There's no risk when you shop with Shady Rays. Their team always has your back. Exclusively for y'all listeners and watchers right now, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the new year. You can go to shadyrays.com and use code KindaFunny for 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. These are 5-star rated by over 200,000 people. Again, that's shadyrays.com. Use the code KindaFunny. Shout out to Honey for sponsoring this episode. Honey is the easy way to save when shopping on your iPhone or computer, and thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes is a thing of the past. And we all know there's nothing better than the feeling of saving money. Honey is the free shopping tool that scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best one it finds to your cart. When you check out, the Honey button appears, and all you have to do is click Apply Coupons. You wait a few seconds, you see the fun little dancing guy. Honey searches for coupons, and it finds you the best ones. And then you just watch the prices drop. We here at Kinda Funny have been using Honey for years, and it's helped us save thousands on tech, costumes, food, you name it. Honestly, I just love how easy it is to just set and forget and save. That's the best part. Honey doesn't just work on desktops, it works on your phone too. You just activate it on Safari on your phone, you save on the go. If you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out. You can get PayPal Honey for free at joinhoney.com/kindafunny. That's joinhoney.com/kindafunny.
Plot. Here's the plot. It's the plot. Here's the plot.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here's the plot for Creed 3. We start in the far-off year of 2002. A young Adonis Creed is sneaking out of his house to go hang out
too, right?
with his friend Dame Anderson. Depending on the month, this might have been the month I graduated college.
God, let's finish it.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Think about
Wow.
that. Think about that,
That's a lot
ladies
to
and
think about.
gentlemen. Of course, they go to an underground boxing match, and we establish that Dame is incredible. He's on the rise as one of the best pro-am or amateur boxers, soon to be pro-am, and he lays it all out for Adonis. He's like, I'm going to be Golden Gloves, win the Olympics, go pro, be the best there ever was. And you believe it. And these two actors are great. These two kids, great chemistry.
Yep.
Phenomenal. Great to see, very nostalgic for me, Andy, seeing 2002 again. I never thought I'd see that recreated.
Listen to
it
Drake.
was just,
we didn't have
it was
cell
just so
phones
long ago.
back there. We couldn't take photos of it.
I had a Nokia. And when you take a picture of it, you'd be like, I think that's something. You would just see colors.
12
and
by
pixels.
20.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Is it me though? Didn't the wireless cell phone signals work better back in those days?
Well, if you had a cell phone,
Well, I feel like they worked a lot better.
probably
Yeah, there was
right.
30 people on the fucking network.
Also, remember that's when you had to text with the alphanumeric text.
Yep.
Oh, I
Hey,
mean, bro,
beep,
you'd be
beep,
I'd be driving just.
You knew it, bro.
Taking a fucking look at my phone, bro.
Not
I'd
even.
be
Cruelty, right?
Oh,
one
God,
hand.
absolutely.
The one hand
like a
wonder.
machine,
Whoa,
dude.
slow down there. Whoa.
I mean, are you ambidextrous?
That's where he ended.
Keep going.
Oh, did you say
Are
that?
you ambidextrous?
No, that's not where I ended. That's
I
not
thought
what
maybe
I said.
I thought maybe I pulled another. Well, what did we do last
remember
week?
that?
Remember that? I don't watch online.
Remember that, Eddie?
Remember that? Andy, remember my wife? Remember that? Remember that, Andy?
God.
You
All
okay,
right.
Andy?
Okay. They go to a liquor store, of course. Donnie encounters a man named Leon, and he just snaps and attacks that guy. And
friend.
we go 18 years later. Donnie is having his final fight. He is fighting pretty Ricky Conlon one more time. And, of course, we established Donnie's at the height. Ricky Conlon's 3 years past his prime. This should be an easy fight for him, but Donnie's taking some damage here.
And let me just say that I love already the way that this is kind of being presented to us is Michael B. Jordan as a kid beat the fuck out of some dude. We don't know why. Bam, here we are, kind of like present day or the final day of Creed's career. Okay, I like what this movie is doing editing wise. I like this movie is doing direction wise.
First half
So
was really
far,
good.
in.
First half was really good. And about this fight right here, I like the idea. What I thought we were getting into, like you said, Tim, if we're gonna go anime, go all in. Don't go a little bit. Right here is just a little taste of it where you're seeing that Creed's looking exactly where he wants to hit that
So
where here
good.
Conley. And I'm like, yes, dude, this is what I
Seeing
want.
the openings.
Taking punishment to do it, but seeing the chess match
Right.
unfold, playing
was
chess
really
while
cool.
the other guy's playing checkers.
And I've noticed that in these fights for Michael B. Jordan as a director, he wants us in there. We are super close into this fight. There's no any crowd scenes. We're literally standing in the ring with it. And I liked it. I liked the fight of bringing that. And I like the idea of bringing Conley back, like you mentioned,
Totally.
to cement his legacy as a champion. I felt this.
But let me just say, no HBO, no Michael Buffer, no Max Kellerman.
I agree with you,
A big
downgrade.
omission
Big
here.
downgrade.
Huge downgrade. This
And
straight up.
what was that dude at the end, dude? The ring announcer in the end was so distracting.
Who is that
He
guy?
must be someone big.
So,
Not gonna lie. He
I
must
don't
be
know.
someone
Yeah, I
big.
he
just
must be
assumed he
from
was an announcer.
DAZN,
Yeah,
I'd
he-
assume.
Yeah, he
which
must
is-
be big. No,
Which
no
is the
dis-
channel, the network DAZN or whatever
Yeah.
that you saw
Yeah,
over.
yeah, yeah.
Well, it's always weird because you're like, it's time. You expect that. And this guy's like, are you ready for the
Yeah,
fun?
yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's your catchphrase?
Yeah.
That's what we're doing
Yeah.
here?
Yeah.
Who is it
Andy,
then?
what's your catchphrase if you're a boxing ref?
Like I said, I know he's legit. And
I'm sure
if,
he's- yeah, I'm
if
sure
you're a
he's
big
legit.
fight, you
Yeah,
love
no,
him.
no,
and
no,
he's
of
great.
course.
But he just felt out of place in the world that they were building.
It would have made sense if, since we don't know him, if he was a dude in one of the earlier fights where Jonathon Majors is fighting as a youth
Yeah.
kid. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I'm like, oh, whatever. He's just a dude trying to be a ring announcer. Good for that dude. But yeah, it's not Michael Buffer.
Yeah.
No.
Or
I'm,
even
this
is
guy.
a
I'm
Buffer.
Bruce.
yes,
Or Bruce.
David Diamante.
Yeah, he's okay. So
He's
he's
the
a
voice of boxing.
He's a legit dude.
Calls
right?
himself the voice of boxing,
He's a
dude.
legit dude. But I just felt like
But the general public doesn't know this dude.
unless you were a big fight fan, you
Yeah.
would know him. But we know Michael Buffer. We know Bruce Buffer.
Oh yeah.
See, that dude, it took me out of it because I just felt like it didn't add to the big fight feel. But obviously, he is this modern day's Michael Buffer.
Yeah.
He is this day's Bruce
Yeah.
Buffer. So I get it.
This felt like
But the tone was off.
like suddenly going with DAZN. Like DAZN just feels like a made up network. I'm sorry. I know it's a real network.
Mhm.
It just doesn't say ESPN or HBO. Like
Right.
the general public, I don't think knows what the fuck DAZN is.
which is kind of like an interesting metaphor to the entire movie franchise of Creed, where it's heading. It's heading to more of the modern take, more of the anime, more of the zone.
It felt like they got
So
outbid.
it seems
honestly.
like it's an international thing. So it's
Yeah.
big internationally.
Got
That's what I
Okay.
mean. Like, it feels like they're going away from the old school stuff that we tend to like.
Yeah. Andy, well, if you were the announcer, what would your catchphrase be?
That's a good one.
Everybody be careful.
Stay safe out there.
So a lot of CTE in the sport.
Do you want to guess what David Diamente's like signature thing is?
Yeah.
He repeats the people's last names twice.
That's what happened. He was like, Creed, Creed, Creed.
I was wondering, like, oh, is that because the nickname isn't Hollywood Creed? It's just like Adonis Creed. And I was like, that may be why. And then he said Dame, whatever Dame's last name was.
Anderson.
He said Dame Anderson. I was like, oh, never mind. I was wrong in my initial assumption here.
Just felt out of place.
Well, we'll get to that because we're not quite there yet. This fight's great. He's taking a lot of punishment. Bianca's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Don't worry, I got this. I got this." Right? Duke's like, I love that Duke's here. I love that we're building his character out more.
Lil Duke.
I love that. I don't even think they call him
so
Lil
good
Duke
at
in this
this
now.
movie.
I think he's just Duke now.
He's Duke now.
Because he's probably got some kids as well.
Yeah, it felt like he took more of a role where Bianca took less of a role.
Yes.
But like, and that makes me sad for Bianca, but goddamn, like Duke is so fucking good in this movie.
And he's like, "What are you doing?" And Michael B. Jordan's like, "Checkmate," which is pretty cool.
It's a callback too.
Andy, if I think we're gonna win Fortnite next time, I'm just gonna say checkmate, and you're gonna know we're gonna win.
Checkmate.
And I'm gonna look at Nick, and he's gonna be fucking miles away from me. Like, Nick, why are you away from the team right now?
Back of the building.
All the ping, bro.
It was a
looting
building,
the back of the building.
Tim. It was a building the size of 5 Costco's. It's not like he's down the fucking doorway. Like,
You know, Tim, if you play with me, you'd have my back. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say. Anyway, of course, Creed sees his opening, takes it, and puts Pretty Ricky Connolly down. Wins his fight, retains the belt, wins his final fight, goes out 27-1. Of course, the one he lost was to Wheeler, I want to say.
Yep.
Yeah.
Stuntman.
But he beat Connolly twice and cements his legacy. Then we go over there. We see his wife Bianca. We see a now fully grown, daughter Amara.
big kid.
Big
No,
kid.
sorry, he lost to Conley.
Did he lose to
Lost
Connolly?
at the
Lost
end
to
of
Creed
Creed
1.
1, yeah.
Conley.
To Connolly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Got it.
Right.
Let's see where we at. Donnie also runs Delphi. We established this, but it's a new location. He's like revamped it. It's cool. He's up in the head office,
It's a
and he's
spare bedroom
started
open,
to promote fights now. So he's got Felix Chavez, who is going to be who is the champion and is fighting Drago, which I'm like, that's awesome. Drago is a character in this. I was hoping he would be, and he is. And you know what? Honestly, guys, seems like a pretty cool guy.
Dude, big Drago fan.
Big
Little
Nan-
This
Drago.
guy seems
Likes him
good.
a lot.
Who played the Felix's mom? Because I know that she's very like.
I'm not
known.
familiar with the
But
actress.
from basically, you could tell that they did not. Felix couldn't carry a scene.
Oh,
worth
no. It's
anything.
cannon fodder, dude.
Is he a real boxer?
He probably is.
He's got to be real.
Oh,
boxer.
he's got to be. If
Probably
he's
is.
He
not,
seems like a real boxer.
he's
or a
not-
fighter.
Really is. He has the ears of a boxer, basically.
if
He
his
has-
acting
yeah,
chops
he
are
has
that
cauliflower.
bad,
Yeah.
there's no way that he's not a boxer.
But
So you're saying Michael B. Jordan was a boxer also?
Well, because here's the thing. Like, when we first watched Shang-Chi, and I was like,
Oh, you're talking about
this
Big
Razor
Nasty?
Fist guy,
Razor
he's got to be an athlete that got, like, just hired to be an actor, and we just don't know it. And then I was like, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, what I was gonna say was like it's obviously that they paired Felix Chavez with the mom character because the mom character is actually a
To
legit
carry it.
actress.
Be like the manager
Yeah, the
and,
man,
like, talk.
the hard
But
carry.
but even in that, I'm like, I need to know this family a lot more to care. And
Yeah.
she was kind of over the top all the time, and I'm like,
This,
the way.
the two of them were stinkers.
yeah, I didn't. Again, this I'm like, who am I rooting for in this dynamic of any of
Right.
these things? Because I kept finding like the character I probably liked the most in this entire film.
Felix is
was-
an actor? No
the daughter.
way.
It was the daughter. Yeah, the daughter was adorable. The daughter was
Love the daughter. Love the daughter.
daughter.
She
so
was
much.
adorable. Love their relationship. Love that obviously he's bringing up the next generation of Creed.
Yep.
She's throwing hands. We get that scene with her like not knowing how to do conflict resolution with someone who rips up her face. So she's fucking
Right.
so right,
So
straight
good.
right to the
Yeah.
face. Takes that girl to the dome. Of course, Dame gets released from prison now. We see him and he comes to visit. And I'll say this, Dame, I know you've been in prison for 18 years. But the disrespect to my guy's hood.
can't lean on the Rolls
You
Royce.
can't be putting the bag. No, it wasn't the lean.
Oh, it was the bag.
It was the bag that he
Oh,
takes off
yeah.
and scrapes the top of the hood with. I'm like, step into the ring. Let's go. We're fighting for the championship right now. Get back
in there right now.
Because this is, what was it, a Rolls Royce? Or a Bentley?
Yeah, it was Rolls Royce.
Give you the keys to the gym
Dope.
if you.
I have to say, Jonathon Majors, like this moment where he's playing this like very like subtle, like Mike Tyson esque, very sweet man, and he's very like, oh, woe is me type of beat. He's like, I'm a little down on my luck. as we find out later, that was just a performance that he himself is doing. But I liked this. Everything Jonathon Majors was doing.
He went to acting school in the,
Yeah.
in the
But
jail.
like,
really good.
But was it a performance?
I think so.
That was the confusing aspect of it. Was like he at the end he's the same person that he was at the beginning. It's just the middle where he either shows
Turns
his
into
true
this
colors
bravado,
or becomes this like hate-filled rage monster. And I just don't think they did a good job of like distinguishing between the two. I didn't actually
But
get
that's the guy. The guy that's Felix Chavez.
Jose Benavidez
Okay,
Jr.
so that is not an actor.
He is a
Oh,
fighter,
okay,
for
yeah,
sure.
he's
What was he a
definitely
fighter? What was he a
okay.
fighter in? That was he UFC or is he a boxer?
No, he's a boxer.
He's a boxer. Okay.
He's the
Yeah, that's
he's
who
the
the-
welterweight. That explains why he's not a heavyweight.
Yeah, he's smaller.
he's
Not
from
too small. but
Mexico.
He's
He's 5'11".
small.
Yeah, we thought there was a sort of size disparity between Michael B. Jordan and Drago, and here it felt even more pronounced. Where it's like this guy's a bit leaner than Michael B. Jordan is body wise. It's like they look even more of an out. Like they are not a good matchup right now.
Yeah, we had a chuckle when they both like were sitting side by side in front. We're like,
yeah, fucking right, bro.
Well, Dame is like, look, I'm not looking for a handout, but I want what I've always wanted, which is to be the world champion. And Creed's like, look, dude, you're older than me, and I'm past my prime, so it's probably not going to happen for you. But
This is probably
Yeah,
my
it's
favorite
possible.
scene of the whole movie.
great,
possible.
I like
Great
this
scene.
this scene at the diner. I think is so well acted, and there's so much coming across from each character without a whole lot being said in just looks and vibes and them sitting there. Like there's so much like contextual dialogue happening, and God damn, like this is where Sancho leaned over me like fucking Jonathon Majors
good.
is really good.
I'm
at this.
still in. I'm still in this movie. I'm
Great
still
scene.
in.
Of course, Creed's like, look, come by the gym. We'll set you up. We'll get you going. We'll put you on the track. We'll get you some fights. Which to me is like, cool. End of story. Like, let's just maybe. I'm hopeful, and I'm like, I know where this is going, but I'm kind of hopeful that this movie's really just about him getting Dame the championship and being the Rocky for this guy.
Right.
And we just didn't do that.
Well, I mean, if they would have let him Dame fester, because remember the whole thing that Jonathon Majors is like, this man's living the life I'm supposed to be having. Like when he went to Bianca, he's like, how's it feel for someone to sing your music?
Love
Don't
that
you-
shit.
Like that was
Good.
really cool, right?
All great
But those
scenes.
are the scenes that
I
I wish
almost
that
believe you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
those are the things that I thought Jonathon Majors, if they let that fester more, then you would understand he's in a front row seat of the life he was supposed to have versus seeing it from a prison screen.
Yeah, and I totally understand that. And I think they set that up, but I wish the character were just a little deeper because when we get to the beach scene where he's like
He's like
a stereotypical bad guy in a Fast and Furious movie.
yeah, he is.
Actually,
totally.
Fast and Furious movies probably have better bad guys than this.
Or
This
maybe
was
like
just
Bad
like I'm like,
Boys-
whoa,
a
we
Bad
went
Boys
real
movie.
hard.
A Bad Boys movie.
Yeah, it's like a
with
Bad Boys movie. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it was
Yeah, that's
unfortunate.
accurate.
That's accurate.
We're not quite there yet. Of course, he brings Dame into the gym, and Duke's like thinking, we're all thinking, he's a live wire, man. He's gonna hurt Felix because you have to train. You gotta
I'm just thinking like Jonathon Majors being like, I hacked into your whole network.
starts throwing cars at him. You're like, whoa,
you
what'd
see
you
a
learn
bunch
in
of
prison, bro?
drones rise up above the horizon. You better run, Creed.
Charlize Theron's there with that bad hair. You're like, what the fuck's going on?
It's a King variant. Dude. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
It was.
By the way, this is my first time watching the Fast trailer.
Yeah, you saw it in the theater.
My
yeah.
first time watching it in the theaters.
Oh,
Because I didn't watch it that morning of, and I was like, I'll watch it soon enough, and I just never got to it.
okay.
And the whole
What are
time
your thoughts?
I'm sitting there, and like the cars when Vin Diesel's bringing both the helicopters down, I'm just like, this is incredible. I was sitting next to Gold Farm. I was like, no fucking way, dude. Like this looks amazing.
So you only saw it once and it was happening fast. But did you, and Furious?
Yeah.
But did you catch what the main central plot of that movie is?
that one of the dudes in the heist
Was Jason
was
Momoa?
Jason Momoa,
And it
now-
was his fault. Like,
and
it
now
was
he's
his
risen
money.
to power. It's so like it's
so good. I
so
can't fucking wait,
hysterical
man.
and bad. I love it.
It's ridiculous. That'll be an in review, I'm sure. An epic in review for another day. We're not quite there yet, of course, because the sparring session does not go well. Of course, Dame visits the house. He starts to get to know Bianca. She invites him to the party. And this is where this movie starts to pop off because a fight breaks out at this party. Drago is injured. Everyone in the room, myself included, is like, I think Dame probably orchestrated this a little bit. And sure enough, he of course did, but not before Felix gets committed. Felix now needs an opponent. Now, I don't know a lot about boxing. And maybe you can tell me this. But are there really only ever two people in the world that a professional boxer could fight while someone's hand for like? By the way, first off, most fighters in UFC that I know of maybe you fight twice in a year.
You would
maybe you fight twice in a
You'd
year.
be surprised, dude. This happens a lot in sports where an injury happens and they have to slot it in.
Fighters have to pull out all the time.
Right.
What I'm asking you is, if you're the heavyweight champion and you're supposed to fight me and I'm supposed to be the contender for that, right?
Right.
I get taken out. There's 20 other guys that are ranked higher than anyone out there that could step in at least for a fun fight.
But the whole factor is they're trying to find a name or like a story to bring in the more biggest box office. Like my example was gonna bring in the MMA world, Brock Lesnar's opponent for some reason gets hurt, and then some random dude comes in and fights Brock, and Brock has no experience in fighting. Like he had no scouting or anything, and this dude beat Brock Lesnar. Like right off the rip. This guy was wearing pink hair. I don't remember his name, but I just remember that moment. And everyone was just like, holy, like Brock's not legit. So there's a reason why, even if you are a top contender, like you're mentioning, you don't want to take a fight on short notice because you don't want to be clowned out because you're not prepared.
Oh, that makes sense.
So that's why like you probably go down the line, nah, I'm not going to fight him. But then you're like, well, who else are we going to? But it's such a leap. You're like, but it's a big. Why not? The guy working out.
Yeah,
here.
but I mean, there's a difference, and we'll move on because we're
splitting hairs.
We're splitting hairs here. But there's a difference between like that happens in UFC. A lot of people do.
I just learned it real quick one.
Oh my god.
Nice.
Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, it happens in UFC where people pop like they don't pass their drug test or for whatever reason, and then they have a week's notice, and I understand that. But they're like, there's no like. I mean,
far-fetched.
It's so far-fetched, and it just feels so weird. And then in that whole scene, and even turned to me, he was like, "Wow, this is a bad scene." Where he's on the phone, he's like, we got to get something, we got to sell it, yada yada yada. It was supposed to be a callback to Rocky 1, we'll call weather.
Right. Nick, let me just say that Nick agreed with me there.
I agreed. It was not a good scene.
The first.
I was like, bad. It was bad acting, and Nick was like, it's bad.
Bad acting, bad writing. The scene felt it stuck out like a sore thumb, unfortunately. And I think this is where the movie starts taking a turn for me, where it starts getting.
We got to make a deal. You can't cancel this right now. We got to do this.
And she's like, my son's got to get paid. I'm like, your son's the heavyweight champion of the world. And I don't know how old he is, but he's probably 30. He's got a solid 5 to 6 years left of fighting.
Chill for a bit.
If I were you, what I would do is maybe not make him fight someone who just got out of an 18-year prison sentence and looks like he could murder everyone in the fucking room.
I would have to say this. His fighting style is so cool, though. It's like it goes
very
after
anime,
like very, and he has a crab shell. It's not like a Philly shell. It's not like Floyd Mayweather, but this dude has an old. And I love that line. They're like, his fighting technique is very old that we haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah,
18 years.
Cool. 18 years, but dude,
It looks like he was like parrying.
yeah.
When he get punched, he looked like he was like
he was.
Yeah.
There were moments where he was like he was pushing off and parrying some of the
Get that
blows.
slow mo for a second.
yeah, but there's that funny moment where the sparring right before any of this kind of really happens, when he finally becomes the sparring partner, and it's like, all right, sparring's about to begin, and I thought that's when we were going to see the chest reveal. We didn't, and we cut
He
away
was
from
waiting.
it.
You were waiting.
And I was like, and Felix is dead now. like Felix has perished in the sparring match.
Man,
right here.
no, because when he knocks him out in the ring,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Felix is dead. I thought he killed him.
It looked.
And I was like, oh, maybe that's the motivation, where he's like, I'm a fucking killer, and I killed this guy, and it's very much like Drago killing your father, and he's had these flashbacks. Oh my god, I made this horrible choice, and this kid's there. And then 15 minutes later, Felix is like, hey, I hope you win this fight.
Street Fighter character.
And the mom's there too. The mom who is like, my son is my priority, is like, I'm glad to watch you, Adonis, taking my son's opportunity for a fucking rematch against this guy and get another payday. It's weird. Anyway,
It's very weird.
very weird.
we go into the fight. Felix loses, of course, gets maybe murdered. We don't know, and they make no. It's not like we don't get to see with Donnie in the
hold on.
hospital.
But
Donnie
hold
goes,
on.
"I'm going to give him some space." I was like, "Go to the hospital."
We
What the
don't
fuck
just
are
go
you
into the fight. We see, I think, a top 3 intro. I think Felix's intro.
Felix's
God.
intro was incredible.
Yeah, we
Felix's
gotta talk about
intro
this.
was
You're right.
some of the hypest
Andy?
shit, man.
doing? Play the intro podcast song.
Let's see. Intro, which intro's the best?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Which intro's the best? I'm your host, Nick Scarpino.
Intro's the best.
I'm your host, Nick Scarpino. We've talked about the intros here. I was hoping this movie would have good intros, and let me tell you, it didn't disappoint.
This one was amazing. The rest of them disappointed. the hell out.
Quasi okay. But this one coming in with the guy with the pop and smoke.
Dude.
And the fucking-
Cavalera.
the calavera and the smoke, and I was like, what the fuck is
And
happening
then
right now? This is
so
so lit.
Felix wearing the sort of
Puma
is
kind of-
that, I don't even know what you would call it, but it's like a cape
Aztec thing,
slash
yeah.
like I'm like, this is it, dude.
Yeah.
This is how you fucking come in as the champion.
And the music was dope,
Dude,
yeah,
yeah,
it was really cool.
It's top 3 for me. For
Very well
sure.
shot too. I like how it was just dead on, and they were like, let's have this happen.
And that's
Very
why I
cool.
appreciate these later Creed movies, because they are shot more modernly and in ways that we're used to watching movies shot. And I feel like, say what you will about the story. Again, we've talked about how the story is definitely like weak and not the best part of this movie, but like I think it's directed great. I think Michael B. Jordan did a great job
He has an eye,
directing.
he has a stylistic eye for things, and I think that
I think it was edited phenomenally too.
like that would serve him the rest of his road. But it's tough to do with in the Stallone shadow. To be honest with you,
yeah, 100%.
It's rough. But I agree with Andy. It was well directed.
it's sick.
Of course, fight goes as it goes. Oh man, I gotta catch up here.
Okay,
'cause I
yeah.
forgot what happens next. What
We almost kills Felix.
Almost kills Felix.
Fell, and
Bianca's like, what's going
For
on?
all we
The whole
know, he
time
did
Bianca's
that.
like,
That was just
he
the body
probably-
double at the,
Yep.
the fight.
Bianca's like, when are you gonna tell me about this past trauma?
Leon,
what's
right? She
going
goes. She
on?
says Leon, right?
Right, she says Leon, and
Yeah.
because Dame told her Leon, but Dame to his credits, like it's not my really place to tell you this. If he wants to talk, he wants to talk. Donnie, of course, like I don't want to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Goes to the gym, teaches his daughter a little something about fighting,
Mm-hmm.
and then realizes I got to get back in that ring to fight. Why? I have no idea.
Lord fucking knows.
Lord knows. Well, actually, I guess before that, he goes to the beach to confront Dame, who is now a comic book villain.
Yep.
Who is now like, ha 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 ha.
And he
this
has
whole
an
time, this is all I've
entourage
wanted.
and
I've got
everything.
this entourage.
Yeah.
And
This is
yells,
Brazil.
he goes,
Yeah.
I'm the champ now. And I don't believe it.
And he has
Yeah.
hella people around him. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
champ.
It's weird.
It's
It just
fucking weird.
feels
It
like it
feels
comes
like
out
a
of nowhere.
cutscene from GTA Vice City. Like
Right.
it is so out of place, man. I don't know. And again, if they tripled down instead of just doubling down on the cartooniness of it, I think I would have loved this scene.
Right.
I would have thought, been like, this is awesome. How it is, it's just like, oh, this doesn't fit.
No, that's
not work.
I think that's the big problem is that like we don't get that it should have been the moment like in the locker room even maybe if Adonis approaches Jonathon Majors like what are you doing like what's going on here versus
Right.
him meeting him on that beach.
Yeah. It made no sense. But they get into a fight. Well, first off, Adonis just
Sucker punch him. Yeah.
no.
Oh, no, yeah.
There's that one guy that gets in his face, and
Yeah.
Adonis just puts that guy down forever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That guy's dead.
You know, I mean,
I was like, that's weird.
I'll tell
I
you
don't
what,
like
I'm higher
that.
on the movie because I missed all this.
That's right. He
so
did. This
funny.
is when he walked out, and I was like, "You just missed a banger."
This was a bad.
I walked
scene.
out when the mom showed him that it was a dude with a really light green eyes who broke Drago's
walked
arm,
out
and I was
twice.
like,
Yeah.
And they just
Okay.
happen to have a prison photo while just 4 people are in it, and it's those 2 guys. You're like, that was very convenient. That
I just think the Michael B. Jordan punching the dude felt so unrealistic. It's like, yo, you are a fucking world heavyweight champion of the past. You can't just be punching motherfuckers. Like there's real ramifications to that. Like
it's bad. You're gonna get sued.
you're gonna get
go to jail.
so much freaking trouble.
no,
I know
no,
people
John Moran
pop
just
off.
punched a 17-year-old kid apparently.
Did?
Yeah,
Oh wow.
yeah.
Well,
And he's
I'm
in
sure it's
trouble,
not gonna
right?
be. Yeah,
He's in a
I'm
lot
just
of
sure it ain't
trouble.
gonna go
There you
well for him.
How about that?
A lot of people looking into it. Yeah.
Either way, he's conflicted. His Felicia Rashad, of course, showed him the notes prior to this, which set him all off. And then, of course,
Okay,
he
hold
gets-
on.
Yeah,
She walks into the room, opens the thing, and pulls out a box.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh shit, I love it. What are they gonna do? Is it the Creed shorts? I know they've done it before, but I'm fucking here for no, it's a bunch of fucking pictures and it's the letters. I was like,
You thought it was gonna be like the Chaos Blades,
like,
Blades of
that's,
Chaos.
that's what I'm saying. It was like, they're fucking doing this.
Fucking John Wick breaking his garage
Yeah.
open to get the guns out. Time to go back to the old me.
Complete opposite.
of course, Adonis is very conflicted because he realizes he left his friend high and dry. Bianca's like, you were a kid, and he's like, I know, but I pretended like it didn't exist. And then he tells her, we grew up in this group home. It was bad. They suffered a lot of physical abuse. Dame was like a brother to me. And she goes, well, you were a kid. And he's like, well, yeah, but I just I left him high and dry. And I'm like, wow, that is an incredibly deep emotional place for this character to be. I really care about this character. Like, I feel that he feels wrong. And I'm like, wow, wouldn't this whole thing just be so easy to solve if you drove to the guy's house or went on air and said, hey man, I just wanted to tell you I am a fraud. I am sorry, which I thought he was going to do. But instead he goes, I challenge you. And the scene immediately ends. You're
Well,
like, oh,
I
okay.
mean, I bet he would apologize if he didn't fucking break Drago's hand.
Well, you got to
Like-
remember, yeah, they were doing the phone call, right? He was on Stephen A. show.
Yeah.
And he was like, let's not do this right here.
And he's
like, no,
this
let's
is
do
going to
this.
be one of the best boxing matches ever. However.
Yeah,
That's my Stephen A.
that's
Smith.
pretty good. That's pretty
thank
I
good.
don't know who you're talking about.
No, remember Stephen A. Smith, the guy in
Stephen A.
the,
Smith.
when he does the interview and he's like, "Hey, you had this fighter go down. Dame's now."
I mean, I got that, but I don't know him enough to understand if your accent's good or bad.
It
So
was
I'll just
pretty
say it was bad.
So yeah, just
Wow.
just believe me that it's a great impression.
It was
It's a
pretty
great
good.
impression.
Pretty
Chat,
good.
you tell me.
But then that's when Jonathon Majors calls him and he's like, well, "Let's do this right now. I want to call you out." So that's where I think we miss a lot because fast forward so many of those opportunities.
It was a wasted opportunity.
I do like though that when these trailers come out, I immediately get this sort of Fast and the Furious feeling of, all right, how have these two people been friends their whole lives and us not know anything about this dude, right? Like, just like in Fast and Furious, they're like, wait, fucking John Cena was your brother the
Cena's
whole
his
time?
brother, dude.
How?
Yeah.
Like, where did this come from? You know, I thought we were going to get the same thing. And I think this is... Huh?
Bad writing.
Well, no.
That's where it comes from.
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah, but like...
But in Fast and the Furious,
But
we
how are they going to
understand that.
explain this off, right? But in here, I think it's like... when we get this backstory of what happened with Jonathon Majors' past, I go, oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah.
This is all we really need of like, I'm ashamed of this. This is a dude who I looked up to as a brother, and I ran away, and I acted like nothing happened because I was scared. And now that dude is in jail because I punched the fuck out of the guy, and he wanted to defend me. I think these motivations are fucking awesome. I really do.
I 100% do. I'm just more interested in how they're going. I just, when you write this movie, and I think this is the biggest failure of the movie, is that all of those motivations should come to a head, and that head should be the fight. But when I'm watching the movie, and I think to myself, you fighting him is going to make this worse. If you lose, you're going to have a chip on your shoulder. If you win, you will have taken the one thing away from this guy that he's managed to take back from his life that he's been gone from, absent from 18 years because he's been locked up. And so it's just very weird that the whole thing happens. They go fight, and then in the locker room they have that sort of resolution. And you're like, no, this doesn't work. I almost wanted. So here's where we're gonna go. We're skip
If
ahead.
I win, I retire you forever, Jonathon Majors.
I
And
quit
if I
match.
lose, here's my Mustang.
What's the resolution? But so okay, we go. He challenged him to fight. We go into the training montage, and missed opportunity number 15 here. This guy's bigger than you. He hits harder than you. He plays dirtier than you. We gotta find, Tim, a sparring partner in the world that's every bit as
don't do it.
vicious
Don't say
and
it.
fucking brutal
Now you're
as this
getting me
guy.
hype.
Stallion, I am back. Or whatever the fuck it is. He turns over, Victor Creed's right there. You're like, let's fucking go. We have a wonderful moment here.
You got me hyped, dude. I thought you were gonna say Clubber Lane, dude.
Lane.
No, Clever Lane's too old. He's too old now.
on,
But
dude.
but just Drago just randomly coming in and out. I was like, oh man, it would have been cool to have them have a
Yeah.
moment where he's like, I haven't seen you since
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Rather
we
than just
fucking
show up
murdered
and-
each other and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
ruined
yeah,
your
yeah,
life.
yeah.
But like, I don't know. It would have been cool to have him come in and have them
How
have
you
the scene
gonna say
instead.
Clubber Lane? though?
No, actually, well, I thought they were going
Well,
to
I
bring
mean-
in fucking Dolph Lundgren
Yeah,
to come
Mr.
to come
T or
train him. But
something.
I mean, I did still like that
He's alive, right?
quick little
so.
back and forth between Drago and creative Drago being like, still whoop your ass though. Like
Yep.
Yeah.
I still enjoy that little back and forth. Yeah. I think I'm probably the highest on this montage for the
I'm
full
with you.
Monty.
I'm with
like
you on
I think this montage was edited so fucking awesome. I think the music was hype as shit. I've never liked in movies whenever you're feeling at your weakest and then suddenly you're not weak anymore. Like
You figure it out.
there needs to be a motivating factor.
I need
for
a bit
that.
more of a motivating factor. However, we didn't get that. However, we didn't get that motivating factor here.
Yeah.
That's my Stephen A. Smith. We didn't get the motivating factor, but it's edited so good. I don't care, Tim. Like when it goes soft and it's like, doof, 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 and then the music pops.
We see the old footage of him
God
getting up.
damn,
I was like, bro,
bro.
this is fucking, and it's
This
starting
shit
off
was
with
so
the,
hype, bro.
the Showtime, all that stuff. I was like, it's so great. It just doesn't feel like it belongs to this movie.
Right.
Like most of the montages, of the Rocky movies. I don't want to act like these things have ever, I think, nailed it. There's always some problem with the motivation and all this stuff.
Thank you,
How
Tim.
dare you.
Always
The
the
voice
weird
of reason.
shit, man.
No,
No.
Rocky 2
Full
Full Monty. Let's do Full Monty
Yeah,
right now.
the
Full
Full
Monty right
Monty.
now.
The Full
What's the
Monty.
ranking for this?
So I just want to say, this ending with him running up the Hollywood sign, you have that? Fucking inspired.
Rocky
love
IV.
that
That's
shit.
Rocky
It's
IV.
fucking great. But it is Hollywood Creed, baby. I love that shit.
That's when
So,
you said best. You go best Monty
This is
ever.
number
That's
one.
what you
bro.
said.
It's hype.
How about that? But full Monty right now, tied at number 1, Rocky 2 and Rocky 4. At number 2, Rocky Balboa. In between number 1 and 2, we have Creed 1. And then number 3 is Rocky 1, 3, and 2 tied. And then Rocky 5 to close it out at number 4. Where do we put Creed 3? You're saying number 1.
I'm saying number 1.
Ooh, I can't say that.
I think maybe I needed to watch the other movies in Tim's theater to have the sound and really hit me.
Welcome
I
anytime.
thought the other montages were great, but being in the theater for this montage, I think it's edited so fucking badass, and it's just like it's put together like a clip you'd watch on Twitter and be like, "Damn, whoever edited this popped the fuck off." I loved it. The music was great, and this is like number 1 for me.
Sorry, I'm just looking at fucking pictures of Mr. T. He was so badass back in the day.
That's what I'm saying.
He's so fucking cool. You're totally right. I respect that.
Dude, Mr. T would have been so sick to have.
I think the montage was fun. All these montages are fun, but I do think it was lacking in that one moment. And to your point, a lot of the montages are lacking in that moment where it's like, where is he going to find that second win? Where is he going to find his inspiration to really take it to the next level and fly? Right? Of course. We remember in Rocky 2, I don't think anything will ever beat that in my mind because we had 2 montages. We had the montage where he's nothing but quit. And Mick's like, what are you doing? What the fuck is wrong with you right now? What's happening? Of course, Adrian's in the damn hospital and he never had her blessing. And then when she wakes up and says, I want you to fucking win. That's when the shit that's when you, in the theater, you feel like you physically want to get up and run, even if your left knee doesn't work that well anymore. What we needed was, what is the thing holding him back? And the thing holding him back was the fact that he knew he was wrong. We needed there to be some level of resolution here where he, that's when he should have stopped and apologized to Dame and then had the win taken out of Dame's sales because he's like, wait a minute, what? Like, you were wrong? Like, I don't even know, I forget what comedy movie am I? Oh, it's like Ricky Bobby where he's like, I'm sorry. And he's like, why would he apologize to me? If you slept with your buddy's wife, why would he apologize to you? It's really getting in my head.
Good pull.
But yeah, and then I think it would have been awesome to build up to the plane thing. Plane thing was a cool visual, but I'm just like, I don't know. I don't buy this one. I'm ranking this lower. Where's Rocky Balboa? I'll put it on Rocky Balboa.
So what was Rocky Balboa's?
I don't know.
Rocky, he had the dog with him, and then the guy was like, dude goes, let's build some hurting bombs.
He's like,
he's doing some deadlifting, and he's lifting everything, and he's old school wearing the thing, and he's running in the snow with the little dog right next to him, and he goes up the steps. It's like
brute force, remember?
Force, yeah. Brute force, hurting bomb.
I go above that one. I go above that under Creed 1 and under Rocky 2 and 4.
Okay. I would put this one below Creed 1. I still think Creed 1 had a better one. The reason why all the montages in the Rocky franchise really work is the music. And I felt like for some reason, Creed 3 abandoned Creed's music that he usually had. Like the moments in Creed 1, I loved his music.
That was
Creed
weird.
1.
That was
then,
weird.
We didn't hear any of those.
Well, it kept Creed's music. It just got rid of Rocky's music.
Well, no, that's the point. Like there is Creed's, like he had a theme in Rocky 1 that worked in Creed 1 that worked really well. And I like that it used the Rocky formula of like all of a sudden you go into the neighborhood. And I think when it get into Rocky 4 for this montage, that's when it gets really fun. Like it made me laugh because I'm like, is he running up Runyon Canyon, which is where the Hollywood sign is kind of like, because that's kind of goofy because there's a lot more people running around there because you would have tourists running up and walking. so you would have to be
taking selfies.
Yeah, exactly. So that made me laugh as someone who lives in LA. But it just if Creed's not inspiring, the montage needs to be inspiring. Like you need to feel like you could take on the world after watching a montage, and I didn't feel that. So
I can't wait to watch this scene.
I'm gonna put it low.
It was Little Duke and awesome editing and visuals in this.
The thing that I would say that was sick about this montage was Jonathon Majors, 2 ropes going up it and just like, oh my God, he's going, hey. You're like, this dude is serious.
I just loved him systematically looking at the old footage and shit. I was like, this is so fucking tight, man. But anyway, so that means that Creed 3 is officially ranked at number 2, which is misleading because tied at number 1 is Rocky 2 and 4, and then Creed 1's in between those. So
kind
there
of
we go.
respect that.
Full Monty, baby.
You cannot beat Drago, dude. As you went running up the mountain going Drago. Was it silly and out of place? No, because they're in Russia, Tim.
Yeah.
And then
You don't know what
in
happens in Russia.
And he avoided the KGB, Tim. The KGB was after Rocky.
Man, he outsmarted
He
everyone.
outsmarted the KGB.
It's fight night, ladies and gentlemen.
Already. Boom. That happened.
We're just there.
The battle.
Why
for
do these
Los
Rocky
Angeles.
movies just insist on doing this? Where it's just like, all right, let's spend a lot of time trying to come up with the why, and then it's happening. We're just there.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
Rocky Balboa after the montage had that one moment with Little Marie and the hotel
Rocky
room.
Balboa, but Rocky 1 even, it was just like,
And
he
then-
goes from 0 to you're in the fucking fight.
No, I think was it Rocky 1 or Rocky 2 where he goes to Adrian because he can't sleep and he's like,
Rocky 2, he goes to the priest. He's like, Father, I need you to throw down a little bit of a blessing.
well, I remember there being there was a great scene in Rocky 1, I think, where she was like, they just have that great scene where they're laying in bed and she's like, well, how come you
And he's
can't
like,
sleep?
I'm
And
scared, yeah.
He's like, I'm scared. And she goes, well, you know, something about winning the fight. He goes, I don't want to win the fight. I just want to go the distance.
Yeah.
Like, I'm scared that I won't be able to finish this fight and prove to everyone and myself that I don't have what it takes to go the distance. We needed something like that. I'm sure there might have been a scene in there that I'm forgetting right now, but we're missing.
Does Creed have these moments? No.
It has a couple.
Stallone does, though.
Andy's
Come
your
by,
favorite thing. I'm going to bounce the ball in front
blessing,
of you.
right? You know?
Anyway, we're off to the fight.
Yeah, Stallone should have popped up at the end and be like, oh, where's my ball at?
The post-credit scene, just a ball rolls.
Oh, man.
Foot stop, like a booted foot stops the
Oh
ball.
my
And it's like
God.
Rocky's back, baby. Shout out to the costume designer.
Say.
The costume designer of this, his robe in this, like the American flag robe, but it's other colors that are
Leather,
coming
too.
into it. Everything's leather in this,
Yeah,
Andy.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
all their like shorts
Dude,
were leather.
the-
So sick.
Dude, the white shorts and white gloves versus the black shorts and black gloves was the coolest visual combo. Like, it looked like that was like the brightest white fabric I've ever seen in my life.
He looked like, and then Jonathon Majors looked like Tyson, dude. He had those
He looked a
Tyson,
lot like Tyson.
in the Tyson boots.
Did you see
Yeah, he wore
the
the boots, the big-
Akira?
Yeah,
Yeah,
big
like
black
the
boots.
the ones that almost like almost like combat boots.
Such
Incredible.
cool costume design.
We kick this thing off. There's intros for this too. I don't remember
Dodger
them being
Stadium.
very.
They're fine.
We're in Dodger Stadium with a
Cool,
lot.
like the fireworks and stuff. I'm with you, Nick. I just hate the visual look of this.
Why
whole
couldn't
thing.
they just shoot at Dodger Stadium?
Oh, it's too expensive.
Is it?
Yeah, way too
I mean,
expensive.
I mean,
You have to think.
25
You have to
million
think.
more.
How many
That's what I'm
extras
saying.
do you need for
I
Dodger
would've
Stadium?
gone, dude.
Yeah, but for like 4 days or a week
that's
straight.
true, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
tough.
Oh,
true.
with lights as
Well,
well.
I mean, well, what a bold choice though for Dodger Stadium, but it really you could tell like, oof, they're not there.
I tell you what, man. I watched the Beatles documentary one time where they said they did Dodger Stadium. They said it was
was
the worst
there,
show
but
they
it
ever did.
I love the sound of him. He's like, hey, I fucking got him.
God, his old
I
ass.
don't appreciate that comment. Don't
I
appreciate
thought you
that.
were gonna say that.
I hate you guys.
Nick was in the
was in
crowd like, this is the worst show I've seen.
1975.
This is show number 16 I've seen of him. The worst one so far.
You set yourself up. I had to. It's my only one.
Zero respect in this. They hide my spindrifts and they call me old. We come in, we start this fight.
Oh wait, what were you gonna say?
I was just saying that it was a notoriously terrible show for them. Didn't go very well.
Okay.
Yeah, Dodger Stadium haunted by the terrible baseball team.
What
that
about
plays there.
Elton? There was Elton did a show.
No idea. I wasn't alive for that. Don't set me up, bro.
he's good.
Actually, I might have been alive for that. Elton John has still performed to this day.
All of them.
We go in there, of course. Again, not distracting, but getting there with how bad the CG is
Yep.
for this. Especially when they're
fireworks.
standing there and you're just so like he has that moment where he's standing and the fireworks are going off and you can tell they painted the color onto his face.
Yep.
And it's just not maybe that's my After Effects, knowledge, but it just felt fake. It didn't feel real. And it's one of those things where you're like, I wish you could have spent maybe $10 million less on the scene and shot it in an arena and made it just look real.
I mean, look,
Because
this
it really
is such
takes you out
a
of it.
dumb Tim fucking thing to say, but I stand by it. Like, things are infinitely less hype when they're outdoors. It's just how it is. It's because of the
WrestleManias
the
too.
fuck-
Yeah.
WrestleManias
Andy?
suck when they're outdoors.
Yeah.
Tim's often said that.
But I mean, like, no, like legit, I
agree.
have
Hey,
said it.
hey. We would never have had HBK kicking Ric Flair.
You're right.
If like
Well,
that-
no, we would have, and it would have been a louder pop if it was indoors.
Yeah.
Oh man, but it was Miami, dude. Like that was a thing. Come on.
Yeah, for sure. But it's like, yeah, I saw the Rock and Cena in Miami.
You did?
It's outdoors.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
Yeah.
it would have been so much cooler. When the Undertaker comes out,
Yeah.
the fucking gong hits and it's daylight.
You still see the
Like,
you
get the
can't
fuck
turn off the
outta
sun,
here.
Taker.
sky
Yeah,
still
it's rough.
blue. Yeah.
Rough. Cool concept. They start and we start into the fight, and you're just kind of thinking like, okay, all this stuff's gonna pay off, and it just kind of falls flat.
That's where I'm out, dude.
But instead, we get midway through the fight as we have the push and pull, and Donnie has established that this is gonna be a war.
I'll tell you
course.
why I still love a lot of the fights in this, even though I think it's a very very strange leap, and you could tell that there was probably a lot of people who fought against this choice of Let's have it go poof, silent, and suddenly they're in an empty ring, and let's get artsy with it.
fog,
Like
a graveyard.
it's a weird choice. Don't get me wrong.
Very weird.
I didn't hate it. When it started, I was like, "Oh, this is weird. Why are we doing this?" And then I think I'm just into it because of the sound design and the punches, and everything just feels brutal. Like everything like you can feel the pain that they're experiencing through all of these punches. But one reason why I do love a lot of the fights, especially between Creed and Dame, is the shit talking in the fighting. I love the little chirping back and forth between each other.
Sure.
Like I think it's really, really cool.
More better than the Stallone. Like, you ain't so bad. Hit me.
Yeah.
You ain't so bad.
How dare you?
I loved this fight. I just wanted more of it, and I feel like what was there was enjoyable. It just was weird. And
Yeah.
I just feel like the elements were there. It just doesn't add up. I do think it's higher on my list of these fights, but it's just there was again, this is the part that I'm talking about that was like 90% anime and it needed to be 120. Like
Yeah.
they needed to go further.
I think we just needed one extra element. It felt like it was a song that only had played the chorus twice. Like
Yeah.
we had the cool moment. I mean, we just had like a normal boxing fight in the middle, and then when we hit that sort of weird abstract
The cinema
art-
match.
yeah, and they're
Match.
Yeah.
it's
yeah,
ju-
exactly.
and then we see like them hit. Yeah, it's like watching a wrestling match, and suddenly it's
Yeah,
it's
Taker grave match.
they're using CG and shit like that, and we see the jail cell or whatever be hit. I don't mind any of that, but I wish there was still one more element. When we get that, all right, and that's the 11th round over.
Yeah,
I was like,
it was weird.
oh
What?
fuck! How?
Well-
I was wanting one more element extra, and then the final thing,
Yep.
and we
It's
just
like they
didn't-
pulled the plate from you. You're like, oh, no, I'm done with it.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
No, wait, I got rice right there. Like-
But yeah, to me again, I hate to harp on it, but that extra element was like, what is the emotional attachment I'm supposed to have to this fight? Who is Donnie really fighting? Because he's fighting himself. It almost would have made more sense if it was just he looked across the ring and it was him there, or a younger version of him, or Leon, whoever this
Which
demon
would
that
make
he's fighting.
that would
make way more sense.
All I need is a voiceover from his mom to say something because of how emotional that scene was.
or
That scene was so great.
his dad.
Yeah,
Yeah, who is still
Force Ghost
alive?
Let's get Force
Carl
Ghost.
Weathers still-
Dude, it would have fit.
Yeah.
It would have fit.
Yeah.
Man, let me tell you what. I want
Force Ghost.
his daughter to beat the fuck out of little young Danny LaRusso in the Cobra Kai
Cobra
show.
Kai.
The young, like the son LaRusso son.
Oh,
I want him
yeah.
to get his ass whooped by this
that'd be
daughter.
great.
That'd be so
But
great.
you say that, you bring up Cobra Kai, which is frequently brought up when we talk about Rocky. But Cobra Kai, like you mentioned, Tim, goes to that. They
It
go
does.
that distance, and it really works
commit.
for the show. And you buy into it. It's like all of a sudden,
They
like,
play with the cheese.
yeah, they're right.
Yeah.
And I think that this was that's what makes Rocky good. It's not afraid to get in the cheese.
Yeah.
And it works really well for them. Like Rocky Balboa, he comes out to High Hopes from Sinatra, and that little moment that you're talking about where Paulie's like your favorite character. Paulie's like, I love Sinatra. And those are the moments that you miss from Creed. But what did you not like about the fight beyond it was just missing?
Well, I just didn't like that. To me, I was like, this is very artistic, this is very beautiful, but it's missing the added layer of emotional connection.
Yeah.
I don't know why these two people are fighting to begin with. So when we go into this dream sequence, this sort of like this very figurative, metaphorical sequence where they're both hitting against jail bars and it's incredibly artistic. I'm like, I get bored. And also, it deflated all of the tension from the 3 rounds before because it took us out of reality. So I'm like, wait, what are we doing here? Also, this is a very nitpicky thing. But at one point, because of the way it was colored, because it was kind of sepia, and then they had a green light at one point that made the entire background go green. And I was like, is that just the green screen? Because you could hear that they were in a smaller room when they were talking to each other. It didn't feel like they were still in the big thing. It felt like they were in a room maybe this size with walls. It was a green screen room because that's what it was. It was just all green. It just very much took me out of it. I thought it was a bold choice, but for me, it just didn't work.
And I thought that in addition to that, some of the bold choices they made, they just misstepped. Like seeing the young Dame, I was like, oh, that's awesome. And then they showed young Creed. I'm like, we didn't need that. Like, it's like, y'all.
But I also hated the way that it was shot.
Yes.
I didn't like it. It felt like, oh, we need these pickup shots of him. Well, I got this other camera that it's not like the ones we were using for the rest of the movie. Like, it looked out of place. It looked odd. Maybe they used it because it felt like older footage.
Maybe.
It did feel kind of weird, but Shout out to them for actually using like broadcast cameras for the Stephen A. Smith first take segment.
Okay.
I'm so glad
You're
those cameras weren't the fucking red or IMAX cameras that they usually use in the. I hate that shit, dude. Hey,
This is the
local channel News 5. It's like, all right, you don't use those cameras, James Cameron. Like, what are you talking?
Cameron. This is the first Creed or Rocky movie to be shot in IMAX. We didn't watch it in IMAX, but if you go watch it there,
Is this where we're ranking the hype on this fight?
yeah,
Are we
let's
there yet?
do final fight hype,
right here.
baby.
Let's do it right here.
Unless you want to.
Do you want to keep going with the
just
plot?
No, I mean we could. They fight and he knocks him out. He figures out his timing finally, which is a little callback to earlier. Waits for him to open it up.
Looks like a little crab.
Puts him down, which was what it was.
It was what it was.
It was what it was.
And I can't believe how disappointed I am that with all the teasing of setup, that was the conclusion where I'm like, I don't feel like we earned that, and it just fell out of nowhere.
Like
cool.
if your spider sense as a 27-1 champion of the world is wait for the guy to open his guard.
Yeah.
It's not really selling it for me, bro. Like I thought the Ricky Conlon fight was way more interesting than this, just because he was taking that punishment over and over again to figure out where's the weak point, where am I going to go, and then he goes straight to the body a couple times, puts him down. And this one, it was like it's really not that hard. You can't hit my face. 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 You know what I mean? It's like, all right.
And that's why I think the first two fights in this movie are among the best of any of the Rocky movies.
They're fun
because of how
They're
well
cool,
they were
shot.
creative. And they were creative, and they played with the stuff that you were mentioning at the beginning of the review, Tim. These are the things we've always wanted from these movies, to kind of put those little breadcrumbs out there, and then you get the payoff that's really, really cool. We got those in the first two fights. This third fight, it's just okay, punch when his face is open. Duh.
What I didn't like about it was the anime part where he does the stomach punch, where Creed gets hit by Jonathon Majors, and it has the sweat part. And
that's
he
so
makes
cool,
this
bro.
face.
You didn't like this?
I didn't like it because it kind of looked like he was in like Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
10
It was
out of
like
it was awesome.
It was amazing.
It looked like that, and for me, I was like, I think why I didn't like it is the moment after it's supposed to be all right. Your moment to get up, time to inspire
Take the
you,
A count,
take
right?
the A count, whatever. It just didn't work for me. Like it was supposed to be that's the bum.
Yeah, like here's
and
here's Andy, the writer and director. I go back in time. I say MBJ, maybe don't act, right? But I'll help you write. I'll help you write and direct this.
Okay.
And what we do is, in his mother's her brain, she went through that stroke. She suddenly sees that he's Adonis, and like she's dying in this moment. It's very, very, very sad. I need the mom to be like, "Get up, Donnie, get up."
Yeah, something.
And then we get that flashback in the fight. Get up, Donnie, get up.
oh, kind of like a Hodor moment. Like she's speaking.
Yes, yes.
Got it.
We get something like, or we get like a flashback of maybe him as a kid. He fought, get up, Donnie, like. Just
That's what I
something like
mean.
that. Like, God, we could have, like, oh man. In the way that we had those music and sound hits in the montage, bring that back here, and it would have been so awesome.
Or even if
dude.
like a flashback to them of Dame and Adonis when they were kids, like when they were fighting, or maybe a flashback to where Leon's getting involved and Leon's yelling at him to get like. There's so many things they could have done and they didn't do anything.
You know what? I take it back. I'll go back in time and be like, MJ, only take roles where you're yelling or crying. You're really good.
Because
He's like this. You mean like a boxing role? You'd be like, yeah, that's perfect, perfect for you.
I was gonna put this in there for you, but I took it out. But no, I'm putting it back in, Andy. Michael B. Jordan here. The New York Times ranked him 15th on its list of the 25 greatest actors of the 21st century.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Also, people's sexiest man alive.
I agree with that though.
I mean, totally believable there. But
Andy,
like
1 through 14, popsicle sticks.
He's good, dude. He's just he's better than Creed 2.
Now here's what I'll say. He's good. I think he's a very good actor in moments. I do think he has some strengths and some weaknesses, but I think he needs a director like Ryan Coogler or like the guy that did Creed 2 to be there getting a better performance out of him because he directed this. It's very hard to direct yourself in a movie where you're the lead.
Stallone directed that. He was bad in that.
Well, that was the least.
Was he
problem
writing Rocky 5? No, it was John Avildsen who did Rocky 5.
when him and Bianca are fighting with each other in front of their daughter, God, that was a great.
That's good.
Dude, there was some good stuff
like,
like
I
the
love you.
chemistry, like that first time when we saw Bianca and Adonis. I know we didn't have that scene, but that like their chemistry is amazing when they're just flirting with each other.
Yep.
And then all the bathroom scenes where they're just talking about.
I mean, that's the easiest thing to fucking act, bro.
Well, I mean,
like just fall in love with
Tessa
Bianca.
Thompson, yeah.
That's the easiest. Like when they are flirting in that music studio, like none of that. Like they probably didn't even show up with a script right here.
Also, and if I had Michael B. Jordan's six pack, I would be showing my wife that she'd be like, stop it.
Obnoxious.
I love that. That was to me one of the most endearing parts of it, because he was like, "Oh, you want some of this?"
Yeah.
And I do that to D,
I know.
and her reaction to it
It's a
is
big
not
belly.
the same as Bianca's reaction to
Big
Michael B.
belly.
Jordan.
Yeah.
She's like, "Put that away. You don't need to be showing anyone away."
I think to like go back to the fight, my final problem with it is how dare the audacity to use Rocky's theme
At the end.
How
Yeah.
dare
Bad
you use
luck,
Rocky's
man.
theme?
Bad luck.
You know me, I love this shit, but it's like the themes need to mean something. Man.
Right,
Yeah.
that is not your theme, sir. That is Rocky's theme.
Where are we gonna rank this bad boy?
Let's
So here's
bring
the
it
thing:
right.
we're ranking Final Fight hype here, right? Currently number 1, Creed 2. Number 2, Rocky Balboa. Number 3, Creed 1. 4, Rocky 4. 5, Rocky 2. 6, Rocky. 7, Rocky 3. 8, Rocky 5. I would put it.
I need to look at the fucking list.
Yeah.
Give me
Andy,
this.
can I
I'd
come up
put
with
it
a list?
above 2, under 4.
Above 2, under 4. Tim, I agree with that. I agree with that. That's the final fight right there.
Oh, the final fight.
Final fights are right there, yeah. And while we're doing that, I'll just play some music. As we're waiting right here, I'll just play some music, right, everybody?
Kind of like a Jeopardy thing.
I'll allow it. What? Yeah? Yeah?
I like it.
Oh, we got it. We
I
got
like
it, everybody.
You said under 2, right? Or over 2?
Over 2, under 4.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm outvoted here, but yeah.
Yeah. So there we go. That's the final fight. Now we
Better
are
than Rocky
doing a little thing I like to call RaGu OPPO.
RaGu OPPO.
My favorite parts of the show, by the way. And I get it.
Not even trying.
Lucky.
Lightly moving his lips.
There was a split second where I thought, oh, am I hosting that? I don't host it. And I looked at Nick and just looking like a fucking fish.
It's like a lizard.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Rad Guys. Talk the opponents of the Rocky / Creed / soon to be Drago series. I'm your host, Nick Scarpino. Tim, where are we at right now? Where are we gonna rank? Well, we're gonna rank Dame, and I think
Dame.
yeah. And
So,
I feel like
the
where are we at?
ranking?
Just
what we
so
got
you know
there?
the ranking currently, number 1, we have Apollo Creed from 2.
Fucking great.
At number 2, we have Drago and Drago from Creed 2.
The Dragos.
The lawyers.
At number 3, Drago. Number 4, Apollo Creed from Rocky 1. Then Clubber Lang, Dixon, Tommy Gunn,
Okay.
Pretty Ricky.
I know where he's.
I'll start this. I would put him right above Clubber Lang.
I agree.
I feel like he's a better version of Clubber Lang, more depth, and no disrespect to Mr. T. They didn't give him much to do in that movie,
didn't.
except for being just a menacing one-dimensional character.
Yep.
Jonathon Majors brings a dimension to this character that the script simply did not have. So I think we got to rank him a little higher than Mr.
He
T.
was soaring up the charts at the very beginning, but then once he got the belt, he turned into something different.
Yeah, he's a
and
caricature.
it wasn't like
Yeah.
who he was. But I thought he was so layered, and he had a very broken soul, and you were buying everything that he was doing, and the motivations. Even if it was a little Bond villain where he's like, "I'm going to infiltrate your family and take everything from you," he didn't take everything from him, because at the end of the day, he had the belt, and he still had everything enough resources to take back everything. If the movie decided to like, hey, all of a sudden you have this guy, you brought in this dude into your own promotion, and he took the belt from your champion, and the rest of the boxing world doesn't trust you anymore, you're a bad promoter, and he loses his, kind of ranking there in that world, and no one wants to work with him.
Don't blame him for
the
that,
fighters leave him. Like,
Don't blame him for that.
I'm just saying, that would have been like cool if Jonathon Majors was able to take down the entire empire of Adonis, and and then have some tax invasion thing happen, and then he loses like in Rocky 5. Then you're like the number
The
one.
robot comes out, beep, boop, bop, boop, boop. We're like, what is happening?
What's going on?
Fucking movies.
Happy birthday, Donnie.
Right? Like then you're number one. But I agree. right above
Fuck,
Cumberland,
dude.
Here's the thing. I don't love that we have Drago at number 3.
Dude, he was representing Russia, dude.
He's a fucking
country.
cartoon.
Country.
Good card.
Drago and Drago.
Andy, we ranked him
from
high because he killed Creed.
Creed 2.
He said,
No,
he
the
dies,
bad
he
guys
dies.
murdered somebody.
He said if he dies, he dies.
If he
dude.
dies,
He's
he
like,
dies.
He dies. I'm
Like,
gonna break
enough.
you.
Yeah, I don't love that we have him that high, because I like Jonathon Majors more than that Drago, but I don't like him more than Apollo Creed in the first Rocky. So I guess I'll have to agree with y'all. I'm fine with that being there. underneath Creed 1's Apollo.
Yeah, I can.
Or, sorry, Rocky 1's Apollo Creed.
I can be okay with that as well. Dame.
Where would you put him though?
I would
Where'd you
put
like
him.
him?
It's a weird thing where like I, similar to Andy, like don't love where the list is. So
I'd put him number 3 but I don't think he's better than Apollo Creed in the first Rocky. You know?
I do. But I'm just not the biggest Apollo Creed as a antagonist fan. I liked him as a friend.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, you're right.
You know?
Yeah, you're right.
I like him as a
Yeah.
friend.
So
Well, I
yeah,
put him
I'm
at
okay
number
with
3
it.
then. I put him at number 3.
Above Drago. I just don't know if I can put him above Drago.
I think I just like there's
I
nothing
can't
there
do
with
it.
Drago. He's just a Terminator.
I would like to
But
point
I-
out, like Igmag here in the chat says, Adonis was able to actually open up and grow as a person, learning to be vulnerable. I think that is a very important theme that they explored a little bit, where men experience traumatizing things in the past as well, and men harbor all that, and that's what he was doing. That's how he was able to survive. And Bianca literally pulled it out of him to tell her, please, I am literally your wife to be to the end of your days, essentially. Tell me what's the problem here. You cannot live life like this. You are imprisoning your own mind with this trauma. So I do appreciate that was explored. But I think if they would have brought it home with the moment they were talking about, if Leon popped up in that montage of the cinematic graveyard fight that they had, and Leon standing across the ring, like that would have been like, wow, this man is literally overcoming metaphorically as well his past trauma. And then have him represent that as a global champion. Hey, I had this experience as a child, and this is how it affected me. So in that world, he's able to be an ambassador for that too. There's lots of things that they had on the table, but I wish that at the end they executed it more.
And let
Yeah.
Bianca kick Jonathon Majors' girlfriend's ass. Like let her
I'm not kidding though. At one point,
Like
I was
Cobra
like,
Kai style.
Amara
Good point,
is
Nat.
training. I thought maybe Dame had a kid, and that Dame's kid was gonna come out of prison too, like a 10-year-old, like prison. Like now I got a grudge
She's
match.
7.
Because we're setting up Drago,
Beckett.
that family. We're setting up Dame's family. We're setting up all these families to be this great. And listen, if we want to push the series more toward Fast and Furious, where it does go more anime, where it is more of a soap opera, I'm all for that. We've had some really great movies in the series so far. So bring on Creed 4. But this one, I'm fascinated to see where you guys are going to rank this on the list.
Yeah, so I mean, let's get to it then. That's the last thing to do is to rank the Rocky / Creed / soon to be Drago cinematic universe.
jeez.
Currently, number 1 is Creed 2. Number 2 is Rocky 2. Number 3 is Rocky Balboa. Number 4 is Rocky. 5 Creed. 6 Rocky 3. 7 Rocky 4. 8 Rocky 5. I can, in good conscience, put this above Creed 1, so I put it at number 6, above Rocky 3.
Damn, Tim, we're locked in today, bro.
Yeah.
Andy, give it to me.
I would put this. I'd put this above the first Creed, underneath the first Rocky. No, I put it over the first. No,
It's conflict.
I put it at number 1. No, I'm kidding.
No, let's not even rank it. Let's not even rank it.
I'll leave it underneath the first Rocky. I think this movie is million times more hype than the first Rocky.
Yes.
But I just love the heart that Stallone brings, and I love the subdued acting, and I just love every conversation he has in those movies.
Cuff and link.
So Sancho West, bring us home, baby.
I would have to stand firm in this. If this series continues without Stallone, I think it'd be a big misstep and a travesty for that character. Like Rocky Balboa is one of the best characters written of all time. And then Stallone himself, there's the big hubbub about that he can't get the rights back. The producers hold it. And
How are they going to explain Stallone coming back? It's like, Earth's not the only planet in the galaxy.
Wait, it's the
Like, how are they gonna
DC
get back?
Elsewhere, the DC
I
Elsewhere
see.
universe that they could create. I'm just saying, like, it's a bummer that Stallone can't write off the character that he wanted to. But
He had a beautiful goodbye.
he had a great goodbye. But like I said, if they would have just kept his character alive in this, a phone call, a conversation.
What they should have done with this was they should have had when Donnie was conflicted, he goes to Rocky's grave,
Right.
and pulls a fucking chair out and talks to his old mentor.
Something.
They needed something like that.
Like I don't mind Rocky being written off as being just dead off screen. Like it's fine. It's just more of like it just feels weird when you know that he's such an important figure. He called him Unc for crying out loud, and not even to reach out to him when he's at his lowest low. And I understand people were gonna say this movie needs to be about Creed, and he needs to figure out some stuff on his own. And
We need to move on from Luke
we need
Skywalker
to move,
for fuck's sake.
Right. You need to move on from the Skywalkers for Star Wars to grow, right? Whatever. But this is different. But to answer your question, I would rank this above Rocky 4.
Above Rocky 4.
Dude, heart's on fire, bro.
All right.
Wait,
cool.
where is Rocky 4 higher? where is Rocky 4 at?
Rocky 4 is currently second to last.
Okay.
You'd put this below Rocky 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Below Rocky.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Do you feel that?
No, I would put it above Rocky 3.
Okay, yeah.
Just
So
based on
then-
the strength of Jonathon Majors' character.
Yep.
The
so
thing with Rocky 4 that when
But you do have the great Creed Rocky dynamic in Rocky 3.
yes,
That does really kind of elevate. You know, I will put this below
and
Rocky
he's like,
3.
and then the final moment of
will do
Rocky
it.
3 where they go
And they
ding
splash
ding
each other. Yeah, they
yes,
splash.
yes.
And Andy and I are in the ocean. We're splashing each other. So
the-
fun.
And then think of all the other like not great stuff. Like you are right now rose tinted glasses with so many of these movies.
But I'm just saying, like,
You're
the,
thinking
can't
about
remember
the
half
good
of them.
times, or you're not thinking about the bad.
the thing is, like, I would hate
And
to.
all you're thinking about last night is that I didn't give you enough M&Ms.
a
That's
good
why
point.
you're having a bad.
no,
taste
you
in
just not
your
giving me
mouth.
enough M&Ms. You told me to get my own popcorn, and we always share popcorn. We have forever.
Granted, I did
Always
sit
share
in
I
popcorn.
mean, I buy the
That was a
popcorn, you
very-
eat it. So
That was a very fun experience sitting in between you
It was
two.
great. Did you feel the tension?
I know, I felt it. It was like I couldn't, but I felt going back and forth. It was really fun.
It was fun.
Yeah, but yeah, I just, I like Rocky 4 a lot. And that, with the thing about Rocky 4, it's total 80s, one dimensional,
Yes.
very fun, very exciting to watch and to go back to. I just don't see myself watching this movie over and over again unless it's for my friend, because that's my boy. My boy killed it as Leon.
I'm gonna flip flop here. I'm gonna go back to this. I'm gonna go back to this being. Wait, is it? This,
what do you want, Nick?
I'm tired of you.
It's tough, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us.
Mm.
This Rankin review. It's moments like this really the character of a man comes out.
Mm.
And I have to vote. Is the strength of that relationship better than the overall achievement that was this movie that we saw last night?
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta say it was. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna keep this where I had it, below Rocky 3.
Okay.
Oh, below Rocky.
Well,
Below
Okay.
Rocky 3.
There we
I'm
go.
siding with Sancho on
Wait.
this.
Yes. Shit. Okay.
Yes. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Where's
I'd
that?
rather watch Rocky 3 again.
Where does that put us?
That puts it there. So
Because remember, Mick died in Rocky 3.
I almost made a huge mistake. Huge mistake.
So currently the rankings are number 1, Creed 2, number 2, Rocky 2, number 3, Rocky Balboa, number 4, Rocky, number 5, Creed, number 6, Rocky 3, number 7, Creed 3, number 8, Rocky 4, and number 9, Rocky 5.
That feels good.
This is a
Great
very
list.
difficult
That
list
feels
to read.
solid. That feels really
Is it harder or easier to read the one where there's 13 ties at two different places?
That is very difficult too. But yeah, the amount of
I've
I've never
numbers.
seen Tim sweat.
I
so
need
much.
these movies to be like the return of Apollo,
Yeah,
and then like
exactly.
Clubber's here.
Ollie's back.
Yeah, let's beat
Ollie
Russia.
strikes back.
Let's beat Russia. The Cold War's over.
Oh my god.
Like a Charlie Brown special.
Yeah, I need a bunch of subtitles for these.
Charlie
We are
Brown
going to
Saves
be
Christmas.
undeniably the lowest on Creed 3 of anyone on the internet.
I-
Prepare
dude,
yourselves for
I
the shit you're
understand
gonna
that,
get.
but dude, it's
don't care.
you're just missing the substance of what Rocky movies are, and you're supposed to be inspirational. I just didn't feel inspirational.
Yeah,
inspired from it.
I mean, again, a lot of good stuff in this movie.
It's good stuff. Good stuff.
stuff.
I mean, if Michael B. Jordan had like a Marvel movie to direct, that'd be sick because the visuals were really sick.
Wakanda reference in this.
There was,
Was there?
yeah, the music.
During the montage, in the music, they shout out Wakanda.
Oh, cool.
Let us know in the comments below what you thought of Creed 3, where you would rank it all. And until next time, Sancho West, thank you for coming through. Where could people find you?
Find me at all things Sancho West, and I mainly on Twitter and things of that sort. But hey, right now for the next couple of times, I need your support. Kind of Funny Best Friends on the Crown channel, twitch.tv/Crown on Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. It's a show called Multitude. It's really fun. Come on out. We had Andy on the show recently, and he had a great time on
Great
it.
time.
And I cannot wait to do more. We have it's a couch co-op type of vibe, virtual, and we have big guests. We had Anthony Carboni last week alongside with Not Sage Ryan. So it was, or Sage Ryan, and she's not Sage, but really awesome people are on the show that you interact with on the reg here for the Kind of Funny Best Friends. But it'd be really appreciated you coming out because I really want that to go out the whole year because that'd be awesome.
Hell yes.
I could come out
go
here more
support.
if that happens.
Yeah, support the homie Sancho West so he could be back in the spare bedroom. We've been having such a blast. And if you want more of him on Kind of Funny, you can go to youtube.com/kindoffunnygames where he and Snowbike Mike absolutely crushed a Fortnite community game doing shoutcasting
fun,
while
yeah.
Nick, Andy, Joey, and Roger were playing the game. Kevin killing it on the set design and everything. Great stuff all around. Anyways, love you all. See you next week.
Ew.